that's trying to cancel me, this is your last warning because I will not deal with this. And that's when it got way worse. Hey everybody, it's Grant, and today we are going to be going over my absolute worst tenant ever. It was the absolute worst experience as a landlord in the last 13 years, and I cannot wait to share it with you. In today's video, you are going to get an inside look on what the property looks like after everything was all said and done. Sadly, some eviction tips because I made a ton of mistakes that you are going to be able to learn from, as well as that good old juicy drama, because we had plenty of it during this experience. So I purchased this property back in August of 2020. This property is actually the property that got us to 30 units. It was very exciting, and I'm going to drop the video of that in the link in the description, as well as, boom, how about a photo? All right, so here's the thing. Not only did I buy this property in August, I bought it for $350,000. It came with 8 units, and they are from the 1970s, and we have plenty of renovations that we're going to do to them. But not only did it come with 8 units, but it came with a few tenants. I have been literally clearing the way through the tenants that caused me brain damage and just weren't meant for me. This tenant, as well as one more, just left this month, and I can't wait to tell you all that has happened. The first thing that this tenant did was her husband walked over to the next door neighbor and asked for a plunger. When he got done plunging whatever he needed to be plunged, he brought the plunger back and asked for extremely inappropriate favors. After discussing this with the tenant, a few weeks later, him and the wife surprisingly ended up having some problems. I didn't rat him out, but they ended up having their own problems anyway. Shocker. So when I actually purchased this property, their first month with me, they paid their rent very slowly and in 2 payments. So I kind of thought that we might have some issues, but I always have the benefit of the doubt for my tenants. So after their relationship issues turned into a full spousal split, then they got even farther behind to where they were actually a few $100s behind for the month. And so not only that, there was also a lot of trash and things starting to pile up after the unit after Hurricane Laura. They started to pile up so bad that when my insurance came to take photos, the adjuster came to do his job, my insurance company actually sent me a cancellation letter unless the items were cleared from the property. We sent one back explaining that after the storm things happened, and plus I had already asked and she had not seemed to care very much. From what both of them were communicating to me, rent was about to get really hard to collect. So not only that was going on, the items in the front were piling up. And I finally went from, when I got the letter from my insurance, I went from a, hey, I really need you to clean this up, I'm trying to be understanding, to, hey, it's time to clean this up. I've got an insurance that's trying to cancel me. This is your last warning because I will not deal with this. And that's when it got way worse. Now that he had moved out, it was like the floodgates opened to this hoarding lifestyle. A camper showed up to the property. It was the final straw. There was boats in the yard, campers, all kinds of goofy things. But when that camper showed up, I was done. Not only did this clutter make my tenants ashamed of where they lived, as well as feel uncomfortable, this renter, this tenant, this lovely human being had a highway of cars and people coming in and out of her house. And I wonder what they were doing. Drugs? People's mail would just disappear. Not even just my tenants, the neighbors around our property. Like, wow, you're really trying here. And so not only did their mail disappear, wonder where it went, but she was goofy enough to invite my property manager in to look for it. The box opened with the person's name was sitting on her counter. You're not a very good criminal. I think that's a criminal thing. Yeah, definitely. Come October, I couldn't get the hoarding. It started from clutter and it ended at absolute, that word, hoarding, to stop. So I made a deal with her to be able to move out by November 1st. She agreed, had it in text. When it hit November 1st, she not only didn't get out of the unit on time, when I asked her about it, her only response to me was, "Get me my court date." So here's where some mistakes rolled in. I've been a landlord for over 13 years, and I have never had to evict someone. It has been a great problem to have, and I'm not saying it's all been smooth sailing. I have had people pay late, not people pay at all. I have had people that have been arrested at my properties. I've had people leave. Just this month, we had 2 people leave, plus the 2 bad delinquent tenants. Not bad people, but they were just bad tenants to me. They didn't pay. I had them leave as well. The 2 tenants that were left on great terms, I filled those units immediately. These other 2, I've got to fix them all up, because if you buy a property that already has pre-existing tenants, it's tough. You need to personally screen all of your tenants, because I have never bought a property and me and a previous tenant worked out. It just doesn't work. One of my normal practices is I'll sometimes offer somebody a discount on what they owe if they get out before the 1st of the month. Not only did I offer this to her, but she absolutely didn't want it. She said, "I don't care about that. Get me a court date." I said, "You got to understand, there'll be court costs involved. You got to understand, this will not be paid by me forever. I am going to bring you to court and at least get a judgment on you." She says, "Do it." So here's where the big mistake came into play. Being that she was on a month-to-month lease because I wouldn't renew to her, when I felt there were problems right there in August when I bought it and I wasn't being paid on time, I didn't want to renew to them. But I never brought it up because I was trying to see if they would just catch back up, be back on time, and be good quality tenants, because I actually did like them. What ends up happening though is, because she's on a month-to-month lease, I have to give her 30 days to leave the property after I gave her the 30 days to leave the property, because she tricked me. I also didn't take a photo of the late notice and delinquent notice and eviction notice that I'd put on her door. Because me and the property manager did not take photos of it, we had to place another one. So now, come December 1st, she's gotten several months out of me, and we finally got her court date. So her court date was set for December 21st. Now, as we know, on December 1st, I didn't feel that well. On December 2nd, I was diagnosed with the illness. The day 9th of December, I was checked into the hospital until the 16th. When I came out on the 16th, my goal was to get better for what day? To get enough strength to go to that court date on December 21st. And my first outing after being diagnosed with the illness was, you bet it, going to her court date on December 21st. At the hearing, she comes up with an improperly filed form that was from the CDC. It stated that because of the illness, she was not allowed to be evicted until December 31st. And to be honest, I never want to evict somebody at Christmas, even if they had already gotten 2 free months out of me. So we didn't actually contest it. When the judge asked me, even though he knew it was improperly filed, we went ahead and allowed it. And when she got her eviction date, we couldn't have been happier. When it came to her eviction day, she still refused to leave. Begged me for an extra 24 hours, asked me if I would please have some compassion, and I explained, you told me to get you a court date after you told me you would leave. There is no more compassion for me. And then I gave her until the very next day, because she said all this stuff about she couldn't move, and I got too big of a heart. It's a tough thing having a big heart being a landlord. After she still didn't leave, after I gave her the additional 24 hours, because I'm a goober, so sad. It took a special visit from the marshal's office to let her know that it was time to go. After that, smooth sailing. Apparently she's been through this before, and she hasn't bothered me since. So thank you to the marshals for getting me out of this extremely toxic relationship. Once she left, it was now rumored to me, after all my tenants came out to kind of give me the 411 on what all's been happening, they told me that she had actually had about 10 vehicles full of stuff. Like, I'm imagining, you imagine as well, just piled to the top, right? And she did that and left with 10 vehicles, maybe even more, but that was their guess. And now, let me show you, drum roll please, of what the property looks like after she moved out. And the beautiful, amazing bill that I have to clean this thing up. First of all, I knew there was stuff outside, but I had no idea how much there really was. She not only stole street signs and stop signs, she even stole a traffic light. Look at this thing. She picked up even a bird feeder, a giant in the yard bird feeder. There was not only all these signs from all these other places, yield signs, things like that, tires, computer screens. There was literally everything, as well as even the kitchen sink. No, one better, the washroom washer. And that's just outside. It gets way worse when we went inside. I went into the property, I couldn't believe my eyes. Stuff all over the place. The laundry room was literally packed, but the kitchen was lined with just crap along all the walls. Nasty old used dishes and just so much clutter. The living room was hard to even walk through. You could barely see the floor. And they had so much, literally, you couldn't even see the couches. The bedrooms were just as bad as well as the hallway. The hallway had totes and this giant painting. The bathroom was the absolute cleanest room. And literally, the bedrooms had nowhere to even sleep. How do you sleep in that? It was a bed in a sea of just stuff. I just don't understand how someone would live that way. And all I could see was a big old bill having to clean all this stuff up with a long afternoon of helping. And I'm still not sure what this is for, and I'm really hoping it's a hammock. So that's it for the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed all my suffering and learning experiences, because I will never let this happen again. It sucks that as a landlord, I have to crack down more, and after 30 days of being late, it's time for me to have to evict, because I want to have a big heart and I want to help. But this year, after all of the things that we went through, I've given discounts after discounts. I've done my part. I've given away over $40,000 to my tenants, plus Christmas presents, plus whatever else I've done for them. And I make sure anytime there's a problem, I handle it. But now I'm going to have to crack down, because it's going to cost me thousands of dollars. And I'll make a video on my 2020 losses as a landlord. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please power up that like button for the almighty YouTube algorithm, as well as comment anything you'd like to see in future videos, as well as also hit that notification bell. And I hope you have a fantastic afternoon. And remember, I 100% believe in you. I know you can do anything you set your mind to, and never let anyone tell you any differently. Have a fantastic afternoon, and I will see you on the next one.